Hi, today I wanted to talk about an observation I've made that has developed itself into a theory. I don't know if this is accurate, but it's just my opinion. I think that a lot of people are mislabeled as INFPs. And I think what is happening is that people who are various personality types, when they go through a period of depression or sadness in their life, and they take that personality test, they are mislabeled as INFPs because a lot of times the traits that are typically associated with INFPs are very similar to habits that people who are depressed go through. We like to nap, usually, INFPs. Um, we tend to binge eat a lot. Um, we we go through periods, long periods of time where we don't want to associate with people. And it's not because we don't like people. We love people, but we don't want to hang out with a lot of people because we need to build up our store of energy so that we can again go back out into the world and function. In order to do that, we have to be by ourselves and have time to think things through. Um, so there are these periods of time where we'll just hang out by ourselves. Um, and what else? And we feel things very deeply too. So when we feel sad, we feel it incredibly deeply, um, to the point where it may almost mirror the sadness of someone who is clinically depressed. But, but then we come out of it and we move on to the next emotion pretty quickly because, um, that's the thing about INFPs. Our, it's, well, I'll get back to that a little bit later. But basically, a lot of our natural habits are the same traits that someone who's depressed might experience. Like they might sleep more than usual. They may not want to hang out with their friends anymore because they feel so low. Their eating habits change. Like maybe they'll overeat or tend to binge eat more than usual to kind of give themselves some comfort. Those are the same things INFPs do. I do that on a daily basis. Um, it's just the way I am, whether I'm happy or sad. But the thing is, when someone is depressed, it's just, that is like a moment in their lives. It's a moment when their personality changes because of the sadness they're experiencing. For an INFP, their personality isn't changing. That's just one aspect of it. And it's perfectly normal for them. So the difference between us and someone who is experiencing that depression is it comes down to the range of emotions that we feel, or the way that we experience the full range of human emotion. Um, and I'm gonna try to describe it, but it's gonna sound like weird. I couldn't think of another way to illustrate this, so please bear with me as I try and explain this. It's kind of like, I'm going to compare it to water, okay? And again, this is going to sound weird, but it's the only thing I can think of. Let's say that you are standing by a body of water, and in said water, there are different colors of dye. You have like red, you have black, you have blue, green, whatever. And they're all in different parts of that water. So being an INFP is like if you jump in the water and you swim through it and the dye starts to kind of all come together. That's what I feel like as an INFP. My emotions are like as I move through my day, every emotion is within reach. I don't just feel happy, but happiness is like that water that is like I'm swimming through it. But I also know and I'm very much aware of the sadness that is right there. It's also like right there. And I'm kind of like swimming through that too. So what I'm trying to say is that for an INFP, the full range of emotions are always at our fingertips. Like in one minute we could be laughing hysterically and like really something could be so hilarious. And then the next minute we feel sadness. And it's not like this. It's not like a mania. It's just that that is the way we are. Every second of every day, the full range of emotions are at our fingertips. Like we're swimming through them and we're aware of them constantly there. That's why a lot of INFPs are good at acting and theater because we have such easy access to the full range of emotion. Um, and that's another thing that that can make that's another similarity that can kind of link a person who's experiencing severe depression and an INFP because of the way or the depth with which we experience sadness, it might almost mirror someone who really is going through like serious depression. But then we come out of it and we keep swimming and we move on to the next emotion because that's just a part of our daily life. We feel all of that, which is why sometimes we really need to get away from people and be by ourselves and regroup because it is a bit exhausting to feel so much all the time. That's also why we tend to be on the quieter side when we're around lots of people. That's one of the reasons why. Um, because because of how much we feel, we know that or I feel like I know that if I were to constantly express how I was feeling and let other people in on that, I think it would be too much for them. So I'd rather just keep it to myself and deal with it myself, um, than always have my emotions on full display for everyone else to have to deal with. Um, another thing too. Oh, another thing about that illustration with the water, how you can compare an INFP's emotions to water is like if you go back to that lake or that body of water scene, um, what happens when we're around other people? It's kind of like their emotions. It's kind of like we pop out of the water for a moment. So imagine you're swimming through your water or emotion, and then there comes someone else. So you pop out of the water, your head's above water, and it starts to rain. The rain is kind of like can be compared to the emotions of the other person who you're interacting with. And we literally take on whatever we perceive the people around us are. We start to feel it too. So, yeah, INFPs are highly emotional people. Like that's how we navigate life, through our emotions and through the sensitivity that we have to the emotions of the people around us. They literally like change us from the inside. So that said, I think that's why sometimes it's part of the reason why a lot of people can be mislabeled as INFPs, especially people who are coping with things like depression, because sometimes that depth of emotion that INFPs experience can seem like depression, or can almost mimic the traits of someone who's severely depressed. I feel like I'm not explaining this as coherently as I would like to, but yeah. The point is just basically, I think that a lot of times people are mislabeled when it comes to being an INFP. So I don't know. If you want to share your thoughts on that, feel free. And if you think that you might have been mislabeled as an INFP, I would be really interested in hearing about that and about what personality type you think you actually are. Okay, well, thank you for bearing with this video, because I don't know, that crazy illustration about water, I hope it made like some sort of sense. Alright, thanks. Bye.